M28 specifically. Now, we've gone through most of the marksmen except for the MK14. Now, I like all the marksmen. They're good weapons to use. They're good setup weapons. And then the marksman it's a good fast spamming trigger setup weapon that you could use. And it's fun. It's challenging because if you miss a couple shots, then you're gonna have to battle somebody. Here's the thing: if you don't know how to use the marksman, and maybe you haven't watched any of the other videos, the M28 is the fastest marksman out of all the marksmen. What I mean by this is that it has the fastest trigger time between each bullet coming out of your gun. Now, you could play this weapon various different ways. Now, and the reason why I like the M28, I'm starting to like the M28 more so over the MK14. Now, there's some factors for this. You could spam, you could spam between shots really fast, or you can like stick and move. You like, it's kind of like it's like a boxer. You know, it's kind of like using a boxing weapon, where you can get into fights, and depending on your situation, and this takes time to develop. Like that fight I just lost right there, you know, I should have been spamming the trigger a little bit faster, but it's hard to recognize the fight that you're in immediately because you can't see what the other person's using. I mean, it's fun. It's kind of like a mini troll game because you get into a fight with somebody that has a sniper rifle or an assault rifle or an LMG. You know that, you know, in certain, each weapon has limitations, and as soon as you can, the faster that you can identify, and that's another thing about Call of Duty, is learning the sounds. Excuse me. Learning the sounds. If you can learn the sounds of the weapons, now it might sound a little nerdy and shit, but if you can learn the sounds of the weapons and you can identify what you're going up against. See, every time I play Call of Duty, I try to pick up something new, like learning to read the kill feed and looking at the weapons and looking at the minimap when my teammate dies, what did he die by, and things like that. Like I set that guy up right there. I knew that they're going to come back looking for me, so I set up in that room, and here I am getting shot, and I think I get the kill on this guy too, but this douchebag is in my way right here. I had to get out of there, and he's shooting rockets at me, so I was using that thing as cover. And you know, I switched up my kill streaks as well. You know, I'm trying new kill streaks because the Trinity rocket is just so bad. I mean, I'm gonna do a specific video on the Trinity rocket. Oh my god. The Trinity rocket, it's so broken, it needs to be fixed. Like, you should be able to target, you know, there should be orange squares on people, and then you should go diamond on or diamond off. Like, left trigger to, like, lock onto somebody. You know, it's just, it's terrible. You don't know where the Trinity rocket's going to lock onto. That's just one of my pet peeves. Like, now I'm trying to use, like, the turret and the you know, the IMSs, but those could get destroyed by ground jammers, so it's not really a good idea, and you can lose a lot of kills building up to that. And I've been experimenting with hardline with this setup too, and IEDs, which is really weird. You know, I mean, I've been experimenting with IEDs, the M28, and a lot of annoying stuff that shoots you from the ground. But you gotta remember, the IEDs, the IMS, and the turret can be destroyed by ground jams. So you have to be cognizant of this later on into the game, because if you're playing ground war and you throw an IED into a flag, they can just blow it up with the ground jammer before taking it. I mean, it's an important thing, you know. Right before you take a flag, see, I got flashed there, and I was like, ah, that carried over. That's pretty cool, though. That carries over from other Call of Duties. So anyways, going back to the M28, the M28, like I said, you could, these are the things, you know, you could learn this weapon by, when you play this setup, you know, you can experiment with certain combinations of perks. The most important thing is trigger speed. Once you get really comfortable with these assault weapons, then you can make a decision on which one you want to use. I'm at the point right now, and this changes as players get better and learn the ground war games. This is going to change. You know, right now I think that the M28 is better because you could spam, you can get into fights and you can spam too. What I like about the M28 versus the other assault or the other marksman is once you put your time into it and you've learned how to use the weapon, you can get into long distance fights and you can move around and you can test people's skills. And it's good to remember as you're going along and you're playing against people, because you want to know what they have. Like this guy ran out of ammunition, and so he's an easy target. See, stuff like that. You know, you can see, you look at what they're doing or what weapons they have and try to identify that really quick, and then you know what to do. But you have to understand the maximum potential of your weapon. Once you figure out the maximum potential of your weapon, then you know what you can do against other people. And that's why I tell everybody, always play all the weapons, because then you know, okay, I'm going against a Remington. It's really slow, low ammo capacity. You know, just fucking stalk him. Stalk out of the way. If you stalk left or right, he runs out of ammo. He's got to reload, slow ass reload time. He's dead. So that's the thing about it. You know, you look at certain weapons and you know you got him beat. I mean, most of the time you're not really worried unless you're going up against the LMG, which has like unlimited ammo, and you don't have unlimited ammo. Excuse me. You got 2 shots to kill somebody, and that's it. You got 2 shots, bam, they're dead. I'm over here, I'm laying down doing a commentary, so I was like, that's pretty cool. Laying down doing a commentary, yeah. Man, I'm looking at this map. This is how it looks in Michigan. It's like frozen tundra right now. Snow. I mean, not only did we get like 24 to 36 inches or something like that, but it's like 44 below zero right now outside. And it's like, I've never, in the whole time I've lived in the state of Michigan, has it ever been that much snow and that cold. Ever. And that's a long time. I think this is the worst winter that we've had so far. So, moving right along, I'm comparative to the MK14. I think that you do less damage. You're going to have to shoot more bullets, but that's fine. I think based on if you have joystick skills, I think the MK4 or the M28 is a lot better. You know, I think that if you get frustrated and you're losing battles, to switch over to the MK14. I mean, here's the way I look at it. If you're just starting out on the marksman, let's say you wanna be a marksman, I highly suggest using the IA2 first, and then go from the IA2 to the MK14, and then from the MK14 to the M28, and then in certain situations, like I discussed in the previous 2 videos for the SVU, I would suggest using the SVU. And that's very rare. I mean, you really want to challenge yourself, you can use that. But other than that, I think that, you know, I think it's one of the better weapons that you could add a silencer on, and you can do pretty damn good, because, you know, you still get the same type of, you don't get the same damage reduction. I mean, none of these weapons get damage reduction on silencer. I mean, it's pretty pathetic, to be honest with you. I mean, you could snipe and still get 1-shot kills with sniper with the silencer. I mean, I just don't agree with all that, you know. I think, especially people running around with a honey badger and a silencer, or the K7 and the silencer, like, what's the point? What's the point of using anything else when you get a free 1-point perk on your weapons? I mean, literally, if you really think about it, when it comes down to it in a Ground War 99, all you're thinking about is, you know, your joystick skills. If you have great joystick skills, you're going to be good to go. You really don't need... That's the problem with Call of Duty. Call of Duty does not penalize enough, you know, on the perk system. I mean, of course, they'll give you ridiculous stuff like grenades, C4 throwing a mile away, and snipers killing, you know, ridiculously, and things of that nature. You know, there's tons of it in this game, and you know what I'm talking about. But the point being is, you know, there's a lot of common sense unbalancing in this game that you wish, you know, like, why is it this way? You know, why does a guy get to hide behind a shield that you can't knife, kill, or shoot their toes, but he can equip like reflex and throw C4 like it's ridiculously no animation between throwing something and hiding behind your shield and killing you. I just don't understand that. I mean, to me it seems a little far-fetched. I mean, the only positive thing that comes out of the C4s is not being able to replenish them. So literally you have to waste 3 points to use it. So I'm not really too mad about it, because I don't think anybody who wants to, you know, use weapons through the game are going to want to do that, you know, unless they just want to be a total douchebag and they suck at the game. Then yeah, that's probably what they'll do. But overall, I think the M28 at the end of the day, when you start playing marksman, will probably be what you wind up playing, because you figure you got 24 bullets in the clip. You can use the joystick skills to, you know, get the 98 3-shot kills, so you're not really too worried about it. If you get flustered, you could fall back on the MK14 and go from there. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this commentary. Until next time, get the fuck out of here.